pull any funny business here and lock in, I don't know, a Teemo last pick for that sweet counter. It's just
I was looking through his 2019 stats, and you're bragging about him being undefeated on Olaf. He played it twice, and he went 2-0 on Olaf across the course of 2019.
So what you're telling me is that he's undefeated.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's what we need to stick in the minds of all our fans.
He's also undefeated on Silas in 2019.
And OG stole his signature Silas pick away from him. So there you go.
Can't believe you do that. Of course, Vitality mathematically eliminated from playoffs, currently sitting in last place in our league. Origen fighting with Fnatic to see if they can get one of those top 2 spots. I think G2 are probably a little bit too far away now, sitting at 12 and at
G2,
the top
of
of the
course, locked in playoffs with their win just moments ago.
I'm sure they breathed sighs of relief after their scrim win.
It was a close call. Yeah. They almost got beat by the 0.004% chance that they wouldn't make it.
Anyway, yes, it was very cool. Going through the rest of the picks as expected, Bromlock in, there's the Leona as well, and we'll get on into the game as soon as we can. Anything that really strikes you here apart from the Olaf pick? Anything that you're thinking, oh, this team has better scaling, this team has better late game, this team will be looking to play through early game?
Right. Well, there's like two main things here. As far as like one other interesting pick, there is the Silas in the jungle for Xerxes. I'm wondering if that will be the tank Silas that I've seen popping up in solo queue. But primarily, looking at Vitality's composition, you have like the Azir that's very good at playing back in the fight, but the rest of the team is looking to dive. You have pretty high range with the misfortune damage coming through as well. So I feel like Vitality's draft is all about jumping upset and absolutely nuking him, whereas OG have their damage split up across their members. And again, it's going to be a lot in their divers too. So Alfari, Xerxes going to be trying to wreak havoc on backlines. It's all about dive versus dive here in a game like this. And that just means that, especially top laners, junglers, whoever gets further ahead is going to have a significant advantage moving forward.
It reminds me of, have you ever seen The Hunt for Red October? It's like a submarine movie. Obviously you haven't. It was probably made in the 80s or something, but it was all, dive. So I'm going to call these two the submarine comps.
So here's the thing is I am watching The Walking Dead for the first time.
Okay. Which season are you on?
I'm in season 3, started season 3.
I think, and what I've heard is you can skip 7 and 8. So don't watch 7 and 8 and then just watch a recap. And apparently 9 is quite good.
See, I was going to say that this game is a lot like The Walking Dead when you consider the standings of these two teams. You have the humans on one side, the walkers on the other. But I think the
humans
dive
is always surprised by the walkers. Like,
that's true.
I never really understand it because walkers make so much noise when you just see them like generally. But then every now and again it's like, oh, 1,000 walkers are somehow outside our door and we never noticed them coming. What on earth?
It's always nighttime too when they sneak up on you. Speaking of which, it's a herd of walkers coming into the bot lane bush.
It reminds me of They Are Billions, another really good game actually. It's like, oh, can we build our defenses quickly enough to get rid of the walkers? Here we go, Kavashard stepping into the bush is going to spot them out, and the horde will have been stopped. Stymied, but they're not done. The horde keeps coming and it just keeps chasing you down.
Could you imagine if Vitality just like grouped up his 5 for literally the entire game? Like they just never leave each other's sides, just walking between the lanes, going on missions.
It's a hive mind. They are legion. Together they will overcome. Sadly, that isn't going to be the case as Kavashard and Sophie step up towards the top side. Check to make sure there's no one awaiting in the bush. And it looks like Skin's actually going to start on his blue buff and be up towards that top side pretty early on.
Yeah, that is the thing when you have an Olaf in the game. It's very much, especially on Vitality's side, about isolating the top lane matchup. Like, Olaf should have a very good time up here in any sort of trades that he does take. From level 1, you can see he's already going to have the axes and be able to run Alfari down the lane if he so chooses. And as long as Xerxes isn't able to gank that lane, he's going to be able to have a very good time up there.
I would like it if some champions didn't have their weapons at level 1. Because you're like, oh, he's got his axes from level 1. Carries them around with him the entire time. But imagine if you could only have like 1 axe at level 1. And then you unlock the ability to have a second axe.
I swear there's a champion like that, but I can't put
apart from Aphelios.
What is it? No, because there's something like Kassadin like doesn't like light up or something until he has a point in W. There are those things.
Leona with the Solari skins, the Lunar Eclipse or the Solar ones, they light up the more levels you put in Ultimate. So
I see. So it's pay to lose.
Yep. Ace. 62% Leona win rate. I'm just saying it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Like in case they see that you misclicked your E instead of your R. Now they know.
Actually, yeah.
Right?
Just
don't misclick
I've never
it,
checked to see if it's a level thing or an ultimate thing. I've never actually checked that. It could be 6, 11, 16, right?
Fair enough,
anyway, Skeens has done his bottom side clears. Now actually looking for an invade on the blue. It actually could be a dive here from Vitality. We said they wanted to invest in Cabochard. That's exactly what they're doing. Alfari is underneath the turret, has flash. Is that level 2? So I wonder if he's taking the slice and dice. But Vitality are not stopping. The Horde advances and the teleport comes in. Selfie dashing forward. Alfari's going to flash away. That is a TP burnt on Yuka.
And a flash off of Alfari too. So while yes, OG are, happy that they were able to salvage the play in the top lane, Alfari didn't end up going down. It is a very nice move out of Selfie and Skeens to make that play happen and to burn a lot of summoners. Now right now you have a situation where Xerxes and Nukduck are trying to keep Selfie away from mid lane and deny CS, but because Cabochard has the pressure up in top lane, they should be able to force them out and pick up the crab on them.
Skeens will be able to secure that one for himself. Comp and Jacktroll actually stepping up towards this bot side river as well. I think they're trying to get control of both Scuttle Crabs with Jacktroll stunning it, reducing its armor and magic resist, of course, and then being able to take it pretty darn quickly. It's good stuff from Vitality, using the push advantage they had in bot to make sure that Xerxes doesn't have that early jungle experience.
These are the map moves that you're not necessarily accustomed to seeing out of Vitality's side, but I really do like what I've got from them so far. An early recall too from Comp, just to go back and get some long swords, while Jacktroll sticks around near mid lane. So they are trying to pressure multiple points on the map at the same time, with Skeens also sticking around towards top. So we might see back-to-back ganks very quickly.
Skeens was looking for the gank in the top lane. Well, it's kind of a gank. Just look at each other like, hey, please don't come into this lane. The lane pushes in, Cabochard will be able to farm this up underneath the turret. Alfari might look for a cheater read going back, not having to spend his teleport to get back into the wave. We'll see if he decides to use that, because of course you want to get back to this wave before you lose too many minions.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to look at the position that this lane is in right now. Because Xerxes isn't, all the way up in that river, he doesn't want to TP in and leave himself super vulnerable, especially without a flash. So I think it's the right decision for him not to teleport back. But of course, as you are saying, he is just going to lose out on minions in a matchup that is already tough. Now, good news for him is the wave should push back on the next one because all those red minions are reinforcing the wave a little bit sooner, since it's on Cabochard's side of the lane first. And that will mean that eventually the lane should slowly start pushing in towards Alfari's side.
It will. Alfari is going to be about 10 CS down at the end of all of it. Not too much of detriment to be in, but of course, every advantage that Cabochard can, including an XP advantage at the moment, will mean that Vitality haven't wasted their time funneling resources into this. Let's have a look at where the rest of the map is sitting. Comp has a slight CS lead down there in the bottom lane, about 5 or 6. As no junglers really decided to go down bot recently. Zesty is on that side of the map, as his Skeens, and maybe we'll see a gank come out.
Yeah, I mean, it is to be expected, right? We talked about the Olaf requiring attention from both sides of the map, especially with the mid laners rotating up on towards there. Jacktroll, though.
Yeah, he's looking for the engage here as the Make It Rain comes out, but here is Xerxes in time. Jacktroll still has the flash to get away, but here comes the counter teleport. Destiny flashing. The Ignite is taking one more order. Will be enough, and that's first blood to come. And Vitality strikes first.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot here from Vitality. I was worried Jacktroll going in right off the bat because Skeens wasn't quite in the bottom lane just yet, but they had the call with the TP to come on over there, knew they had the advantage between those two mid laners, so it ends up being a very nice play from the side of Vitality. And I can't stress enough that for a team that is 1 win, 13 losses in the season, these are very good moves to be seeing out of them. Even though it's only netted them 1 kill, I like a lot of what I've seen, from the early dive attempt in the top lane to how they've pressured all of their lanes thus far.
Jacktroll coming up towards the top lane isn't level 6 yet, does have the flash. Selfie's on his way up here as well, and perhaps Vitality just trying to invest everything they can into Cabochard.
What year is this, medic?
It's gonna happen. I mean, Alfari's trying to get away in the bush, but the undertow doesn't connect. Now Alfari steps forward. There's the Ragnarok. Alfari's gonna slice and dice away with the Zenith Blade chasing him. He's healthy coming in from the side as well, and that is a very dead crocodile made into a pair of shoes for Cabochard to walk back into lane with.
This 2019 Vitality, 2018 Vitality,
I mean,
regardless.
They should be praying it's 2018. Let's be honest.
The old days. Need more Rise in the mid lane, I think.
Yep.
But Azir, another big pick from those days.
Nukeduck's going to step straight into Jack Troll here. Call of the Forge Gods coming out as the rest of Origen are on their way. Selfie tries to flash away, but the chase is still on here for Origen if they want. They decide against a cautious team, Origen, in the best of days, and today seems to be one of those as they back away from the fight in the jungle.
Just chilling for now, down a little bit in this game. They're like, okay, upset, get yourself some items. We'll just be chilling for the time being. Of course, like their comp is very interesting. Of course, you have, Tank for Nukeduck in the mid lane. He's been playing a whole lot of this Ornn and just sort of super carry options for him, which I think makes a ton of sense when you consider Alfari having such a breakout split individually, and also Xerxes, trying his hand on these more unorthodox picks like the Sylas jungle that hasn't caught on a ton here so far in Europe. But Xerxes is going to have a lot of really sick ultimates to steal from this game that combo very nicely with Ornn, right? You consider the Leona ultimate, MF ult if you want some damage. Like, there's a lot of really good options for some insane long-range team fighting.
There really is, and that's the power of Sylas, right? It was locked in very early on in the draft, if I remember correctly, second rotation from Origen, but still, it's hard to think. If you're Vitality, you can't be like, well, we can't pick the champs we wanted because we'd give Sylas good ultimates, right? Like, it's very difficult to adjust your drafting strategy around that. So
telling me you're not picking Nidalee, Zoe, Jace?
And Elise support.
Elise support, perfect. Yeah. Who's the perfect ADC?
Aphelios.
Now, his ult is nuts, though.
How does it work? What gun do you...
That's a really good question.
Exactly. That's why if you don't have a gun, how can you apply any Moonlight Vigil stacks?
He has Aphelios on his team. So.
Oh, did you see that? Destiny just Winter's Bite is a minion. He went forward, Xerxes was in the right place, and then the Q comes out and just smacks right back into the back of the minion.
It's not pronounced Winter's Boat?
Hey. Winter's Jack Troll should... Whoa, okay. Oh, that was Hex Flash. That's okay. Jack Troll decided not to engage in the bottom lane. I was trying to think what a Winter's Boat would look. It's like a sleigh.
I mean, a sleigh that's on water, so just like a normal boat?
Yes. That is a Winter's Boat.
I imagine it's a boat with like some sort of a cover, right, to protect you from the snow.
Fur cover.
You need a strong hold too, right, in case of icy wall.
Or the presents, yeah.
That as well.
My Winter's Boat is Santa's sleigh. Okay, I think that's what we've worked out here.
I can get behind that.
Cabochard is the only one who's been gifted a lead here for Vitality early on. Hey, do you see that transition?
I'm sorry, I'm being informed by our producers that Santa Claus is not...
What?
I know. You're just as shocked as I am.
We can't just say that randomly on the stream. What if people are watching?
Just a joke, guys. It's real. He's...
Anyway, Jack Troll trying to come up towards the top lane as Alfari pops the Dominus, but the Ragnarok has been used. Counter TP to try and answer this again because Nukeduck joins the fray. Call of the Forge God comes out. He'll be out of the start by the time that he gets to it, and there's the knock-up. This is not good for Cabochard. Jack Troll a little bit too hasty there on his solar flare, meaning that Nukeduck had time to pop his ult a second time.
Yeah, pretty nasty stuff right there. Locking down Cabochard in the top lane without his ultimate to be able to escape. That means OG can move immediately into the Rift Herald, and because Vitality put so many resources towards the top side of the map, even though there's a standing Drake bot side, they're not going to be able to move in towards that. So unless they're able to contest right here, OG should be able to get it.
Let's go. Come on, Skeen.
Cabo can TP in right now, and they do have
They're going for Upset. Upset's caught out, flashes away. Jack Troll was unable to get across the wall there. I'm not sure where his Hex Flash went. Maybe actually was stopped by the Emperor's Divide, making that wall just a little bit thick. Skeen's still looking for the steal, but isn't going to be able to get it. Cabochard has teleported up towards the top side of this. Jack Troll, whoa. Okay. As a support main, that was a prediction Zenith Blade, and the enemy wasn't good enough to dodge.
As a spectator, that's what we call a warning shot. Yeah. The next one, that's the one you got to look out for.
Yep.
Oh, man. That was a little perplexing. I'll be honest, too. We're going to see the replay of the initial play up top side as well, because it is Vitality making the move themselves with Jack Troll coming on in here. This is where you get punished with immediate TPs to follow in. And as you correctly pointed out, the stun did not last long enough on towards Nuke Duck to prevent him from popping that ram the opposite direction one more time and netted them.
Fari is getting chased down here. The Reckless Swing coming out. The Undertow is used as well, and that is a very, very dead Alfari. I'm not even sure Xerxes can take this 1v1. Like, it's a 3-level disadvantage for.
But like,
meanwhile,
how much pressure is this guy creating, right? Like, Xerxes and Nuke Duck were both walking up towards top side. OG trying to stop him in his tracks, but Vitality, as you were saying, got the Drake.
Yeah, you said that, and undefeated in 2019 on this champion. Undefeated as well in 2020, actually. I believe he hasn't. So
imagine if Vitality had picked him Olaf for 13 games this split.
Oh, mate, they would be challenging G2 right at the top of the table.
I mean, they'd be better. They'd have the head-to-head.
That is true. Okay, so Vitality in a very strong position. I don't want to take anything away from their early game here. I know we're having a bit of fun on the cast, but Vitality are playing very well. 2,500 gold ahead. Selfie caught out a little bit by Nuke Duck here, but he'll be able to slide across the wall. Cabochard miles ahead. Skeen took him for flank. There's the Solar Flare. They're going in for Destiny. Unbreakable comes out. A great Glacial Fissure will stop them, and Jack Troll dived a little bit too deep there. Destiny and Upset will take the kill in response.
Wow. Braum E just hard countered Vitality so hard. Not only did it block the damage coming through from Comp's Misfortune ultimate, it also meant that Gragas's barrel knocked him away from the rest of Vitality. Oh, man.
Xerxes trading here with Comp and with Skeens. It's steal away the explosive cask, but yeah, I mean, that's the power of Braum, right? Especially into MF and Gragas. He's so strong if you can get that Unbreakable up.
Yeah, I mean, watch this one more time, because it literally is just his E that wins this, turns around this dive for them. Of course, doesn't get hit by the Soul Flare. That's not great. And then, boom, gets knocked back and blocks all the damage. And then Jack Troll is stuck under the tower with no real purpose.
It's one of those difficult ones where, as Jack Troll there, if the Solar Flare either fully connects on Upset or fully connects on Destiny, you're pretty much guaranteed to kill. But because only hit the outside on Upset and didn't hit Destiny at all, you're pretty much guaranteed to die.
Yeah,
so,
honestly, it's like one of those places like Upset has Cleanse, right? And he's behind Destiny, who again has the wall. So you should never be aiming for Upset in that situation. It has to be on towards Destiny, and because they weren't able to, land their CCs properly, layer them, like he gets out for free and turns it around for a kill.
And they're looking for Comp now. Comp does have the flash, will pop it to try and get away. Destiny flashing forward as well. Stun's going to connect, and you can see those chakrams building up on Upset as he hit the Moonlight Vigil. Rift Herald charged up in the bottom lane as they look for the first turret of the game, but I believe that's going to go over to Cabochard as he takes the... And Alfari was forced away. Rift Herald is like, oh, come on. Have to kill this horde of minions before we can charge on.
I mean, this game, like many other Vitality games, as Xerxes chucked out the cask at the last second there. Their games often show you the difference between good players and good teams, right? Because Vitality had a solid early game, right? Cabochard winning up top side. Jack Troll had the initial play. They had a good TP down bot lane as well. But then in these situations where there's many more variables at play, OG playing the map a little bit better, turning around these fights better. I just think this happens in a lot of Vitality's games where they are able to, win their lane sometimes, but it falls apart very quickly as soon as the opposing team just sort of, buckles down and does what they do best. And
what Origen do best is wait out the game. At the moment, Nuke Duck is a level 11. He's going to get to level 13 pretty soon, and then he'll be able to upgrade the Abyssal Mask and the Sunfire. Level 14, you're then looking to re-upgrade Alfari's Black Cleaver. Probably not. Not the most cost-efficient Ornn upgrade, but perhaps Upset will have an Infinity Edge by that. You can just keep rattling this gold in, and then your scaling becomes better and better as the game progresses. Right now, Origen pretty comfortable in this slot, even though they are 1,600 gold behind.
Yeah, scaling is an interesting subject in this game because, like, as you rightly said, like, the Ornn items carry a lot of value, but I would say this is one of the games where they're probably lower value than most. Like, yes, the Infinity Edge is going to be great on Upset, but what Ornn item does Xerxes get? It's probably a Zhonya's, which isn't, necessarily the highest value purchase when you compare it to other AP options like a Rabadon's, perhaps. But even just in terms of general scaling, like Vitality have two very strong ranged backliners with very high range the later the game does get, when OG are rocking 4 melee champions. And that asks a lot of interesting questions, because we said, oh, the dive has to be important for both teams. Well, that just means the dive is more important for OG to either zone away or eliminate those ranged threats earlier on. A Jack Troll?
Yeah, that's not where you want to be face checking.
Wrong spot to be in. But the other element of this is, if we actually shift our focus to top lane, Renekton and Olaf. Do you think those champions scale well? I think most people would say no, those champions don't scale all that well. But when there's a lot of melee champions on the other side, I'm looking primarily at Cabochard, looking down at OG this game, he's like, wait a second, I get to hit all these people pretty freely, right? Like, he's going to actually be pretty high value the later we get into this game, even as an Olaf, because target access is usually the weakness of an Olaf or a Renekton, and against all these melee champions, he's going to be able to freely hit.
I mean, that makes sense. We'll see if Cabochard is able to put the team on his back to a degree as the game goes on and run through a Vitality. Of course, Selfie will have some damage to boot, and with the Nash's Tooth now finished on Selfie, he's scaling up. Expect to see Leandry's next. That's where I would go in my itemization in this game. Yeah. However, I don't play Azir, nor have I ever played Azir.
No, I think you're on the money there with the Leandry. Oh, Selfie!
Solar Flare coming in. Selfie. Oh, that was very well played by Origen.
He's not
Set up
buying anything.
Trap. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, to talk about the Leandrys, there's so many HP stackers on the side of OG. Alphari, Xerxes, Nuke Duck, even Destiny. Like, it's just going to give you a lot of burn damage on this one.
I think it makes the most sense, and we'll see if that is where Selfie wants to go. He was playing weak side of the map there, of course, because Skeens and Cabochard and Comp and Jackdaw were all on the top side of the map, so perhaps could have been slightly safer, but didn't really expect to be jumped on with a Solar Flare from Xerxes. Both the bot lane squads are now in the middle lane, as you tend to see around this portion of the game. And with the Rift Tower picked up by Skeens, I wonder where he's going to use that, because he's still got mid tier 1 and bot tier 1 to try and break through. But the Call of the Forge God is going to get used here by Nuke Duck. Jack Troll jumps onto him. Good stun with the Zenith Blade into Q combo. That's an Eternal for him. Skeens going to jump in as well, but once again, the explosive cast is blocked out by Destiny with good unbreak. Alphari joins the fray with a teleport. Vitality will just back up.
Wow. Bromwall is actually just saving this game for OG. Every time it looks like they might get engaged on and die, it gets turned around immediately. Look for another one.
Not really going to be able to find the connection. They were trying to stop Cole from just using the bullet time to clear out the wave, but Moonlight Vigil wasn't close enough. Glacial Fissure didn't connect. Now Origen actually going to look to see if they can catch Selfie once again.
Wait, he is super dead here.
Nah, he's got this. Wait, he's got this. 1v2, 1v2. Needs to dodge away. Jumps straight in, but the Emperor's Divide is going to get picked up by Xerxes. Flashes away from the knockup. Xerxes, Emperor's Divide him back into the wall, and Selfie's locked. He did have a tower, but I'm afraid Origen had an Ornn.
Yeah, I respect the attempt right there, but Xerxes literally just threw him up against the wall with the Emperor's Divide and didn't let him go anywhere. Not much he could do in that situation, except not be in the side lane in the first place. Maybe something to think about in the future, but OG for now continuing to build back up into neutral in this game. While Vitality do have the gold lead, the cleanness of their play leaves some to be desired.
The cleanness.
The cleanness.
Cleanliness. Am I going to have to do a linguistics lesson with you as well as with Vedius today?
Wait, what linguistics lesson did you do with him?
He said a little unique, and I was like, that's just wrong. Now the engage is going to happen as Jack Traw's caught out. Skeens trying to fight against Nuke Duck. Alphari down to half HP. The Solar Flare's going to land, but look at how healthy Nuke Duck is. Even knocked back, he's still only taking a third of his HP bar. Upset's joined the fray as well as Selfie tries to dash away, and Alphari coming in. Here's the Call of the Forge God. Nuke Duck trying to land the connection, hits it on 2. Alphari jumps forward. That's 1. That's 2. Cabochard's dead. Selfie's now knocked up. Doesn't have the flash. Doesn't have a hope in hell of live. Xerxes jumps forward, and in the end, he'll take the...
Honestly, watching OG team fight just makes me feel good, right? Like, nice. They are super on the same page, super clean in how they do it. Like, even just the Ornn lining up right between there so that there's no ability for Vitality to dodge. It was just really nicely done from them. Now, it doesn't...
Yeah, I kind of wish they'd taken a tower there, though. Like, mid lane turret is, like, free for the picking, so you could just, like, put take that tower, but instead, no, reset, get more items, get more gold, get 20 minutes further into the game, and then we can do stuff.
Yeah. You know, honestly, the interesting thing about these two comps, you know, we talked about the dive from both options, is if the fight starts going poorly after you dive, you're all gonna die. And that's what we saw from Vitality right there with all these melee champions. After they commit forward, how do they run away? It's not really an option. Leona can go in, but she can't go. Olaf, pretty, you know, similar stuff right there too. So they have to be very sure about these engages or things will not end well for them.
I totally agree with you. Origen now at the point where it seems very difficult for Vitality to work their way through Nuke Duck. Looks like Alfari's going Blade of the Ruin King second on the Renekton. Was 10-5 the patch with the changes?
It was.
Yeah,
this is our first melee buffed one. I believe the damage went from 8% HP to 12% on melee champions, so a 150% buff.
No. It's a 50%. It's a 50%.
It is.
I'm gonna have to teach you maths.
Honestly, it's past midnight. I'm gonna need you to cut me a little slack.
150% buff would have made it 24%. No, wait.
No,
it would have made
its
it,
value
it would have made it
it's 150% of its value.
Yeah, it's 150% of its value, but it's been buffed by 50%.
Correct.
Anyway, right now, Vitality are trading a dragon for a bat. So Origen's going to start this one up. Upset's coming across. I don't know if Vitality are going to get him in time. Selfie is on his way.
He's got the chakrams. He's going super fast.
You can hear it. Zing, 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 zing. Oh, Selfie's noticed. Oh, 4,000 HP still left on that, and Skeens doesn't have smite. Dude, they threaten. Selfie jumps in, Empress Divide gets him back. Vitality is a great place to fight. Comp opens up with the bullet time. Destiny goes golden though, and already Selfie's dead. Now Alfari coming in from the bottom side. Skeens still doesn't have the smite. The flash forward, but Xerxes is the one to secure it. Now Xerxes gone down. Alfari's going to stun up Comp. Here comes the re-engage from Vitality. They just dive into the pit. 2 for 2, 2 for 1. In fact, in favor of Vitality so far, and Vitality is still on the chase. They're looking for Nuke Duck. The sentry comes down. Could grab it to move, but Nuke Duck locked in place with the Zenith player, and that's 3 dead. Vitality clean up at the...
I just gained so much respect for Comp right there. On Misfortune, he led the charge into the pit, flashing over the wall, and then his front line followed up with him afterwards. It was Selfie the one in first, then Comp. But honestly, like, turns out they were able to win that fight right here because, as you said, no smite on Skeen. So Selfie goes in, and it's a little disjointed at the start. It's a beautiful ultimate, but the bullet time doesn't come in until Brahm's shield has gone down. By that point, OG are able to get away from a lot of that damage, and then Comp just says, screw it, man, I'm getting in here, I'm trying to fight. And guess what, it goes super well for Vitality. Once the rest of the squad commits around the wall, they're able to peel for him and chase down Nuke Duck for an extra kill.
Yeah, you have to give Vitality some credit. I didn't think they were going to go for that after you saw that Skeens didn't have smite, after you saw that Selfie just died when he went into the pit, but good stuff all around. Now you have an Infinity Edge finished on Comp. He's actually sitting in a gold lead over Upset, who's 3-0-1 on this Aphelios. And I wonder, with it only being 700 gold between these two teams, where will they fight next?
It's such a weird game. It's such a weird game because watching it feels like OG are always winning, but Vitality have just had a gold lead. But then OG are able to like take the Baron pretty much uncontested, but then they lose the fight. So like this game feels like it's very lopsided, but honestly, with the, you know, ranged threats on the side of Vitality, they do have a fighting chance.
I've also realized, you know how we talked about Ornn upgrades earlier? We forgot that Alfari can build Blade of the Ruin King now. So that is a strong Ornn upgrade that Nuke Duck could utilize. He's deciding against it right now. He does have 2 in the tank at level 15. I wonder if he's just waiting for Alfari to be close enough to upgrade that.
Maybe.
What is an upgraded Blade of the Ruin King?
We looked this up because we had the same problem like 2 weeks ago. We couldn't figure it out.
I was discussing it earlier with Betty, and I said it's 2 blades of the Ruin King. Scissors.
No, that used to be an exploit.
The Ruin King. Yeah. Origen using their Bam buff to try and push in the top lane, but Nuke Duck's a little bit caught by himself here. Make It Rain comes down as Comp tries to slow up the Ornn with the chase on. Origen have been able to react and come down from the top lane, meaning that Vitality don't want to fight any further.
For now, Vitality just trying to, I think, like, Comp, as I said, very good spot for him right now. Selfie, 0-4, not having the best of games, but has finished off the Leandri's Torment. So, like, in terms of him cutting through frontliners, he's in a very, very solid spot. And actually, if we're looking at, like, the gold distribution across this game, like, even though the gold is even, like, it's actually pretty lopsided in favor of the damage dealers of Vitality, right? With Cabochard having a lot, Comp having a lot. The leads for OG are between Xerxes and Nuke Duck, which, let's be honest, aren't going to be the most relevant in their individual matchups. And actually, like, they're two of the champions that I'm not even really looking towards being the primary carries as in terms of needing gold in the long run.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there.
Low econ is what I'm looking for.
Low econ is definitely what you're looking for. Upset, of course, does have quite a bit of gold himself, so he is one of those primary carries for Origin. He's sitting at 2.5 completed items. Actually, might be backing the Infinity Edge, and he is. There we are. 3 items on the AD carry now. It's going to make him very, very strong. It's the Might of the Ruin King, by the way, which I just don't think is a good name. Because it's like, am I going to? Oh, I might. It's the Ruin King. I'm not.
Who's on the phone?
Yeah, maybe the Ruin King.
Maybe of the Ruin King. I could support that. Actually, no. What do we got? We got the. I don't know. The great.
I
like
think
Blade
the scissors. I think the shears of the Ruin King.
The
like he's doing some gardening. It's an ocean map. You have to do a gardening. Yeah, the calipers. It's great. The tweezers of the Ruin King. You got that splinter? Like I'll get it out for you.
I'm a big fan. You've sold me.
Selfie could dodge that, and the Winter's has been forced away. Got to take a little while before he gets in. Actually teleporting behind the Ocean Dragon here. Origin going to try and fight it. Cabochard looking for the flank position as here comes the call of the Forge God. Jacktrow's on the front line, lands the Solar Flare, and Cabochard's running in from behind. Jacktrow very tanky with the gargoyles, but he's already down and not really too much damage sustained here by Origin. Schem's going to flash away. Emperor's Survive comes out as well. Moonlight Vigil doesn't hit, and now Cabochard's on the wrong side of the wall as he hurries going into the GA straight away. And they're just picking Vitality off. Vitality are running into the 1-by-1. Origin are very happy to accept these kills. Selfie has to flash away. Origin are still on the chase. There's the flash. There's the Winter's Bite. And there goes the bird. Origin will secure their second dragon of the game.
I mean, OG are of one mind in that fight, right? We go back to Ender's Game, like, they're the buggers right now. They're all communicating telepathically. They know exactly what's going on, who to attack, where to go. Vitality are 5 people with their comms cut off. Right? Like, Cabochard is diving in one way, Jacktroll's going in the other, the rest of Vitality is backing away, like, just completely all over the place. You see at the start of the fight, while everyone else is trying to juke away from the Call of the Forge God, Jacktroll goes in, Cabochard is getting single-handedly zoned, and then they both get knocked up here, so Selfie gets caught out. It's just a disaster.
It's just, it seems to be a highlight reel of Jacktroll dying at the moment. He's died 5 times. He's got caught out quite a few times.
I mean, Selfie too.
Both of them. I understand the reasoning behind it, right? As the Leone, you're trying to get vision in. You're trying to make sure Origin can't just sneak it down without your team knowing it. But there's the buddy system, right? You need to, as you said, it feels like Vitality as a team are just not coordinated because Scheme should be up there with him. They should be working as a 2-man squad to try and get some of this vision down. Now, the Call of the Forge God comes out once again as the tower falls in the middle. Vitality unable to really do too much about this. Now you can see that Afelio is hitting hard. He's got his Molten Edge. He's upgraded that Infinity Edge. And all it takes is one Infernum proc to take Comp down below half.
Yeah, Vitality just scrambling right now while OG wait for another pick. They have the Solar Flare on Xerxes.
And it connects.
Well.
Xerxes like, oh, you've got a sun disc? How
the
about
highlight
the
reel
full might
continues.
of the sun? Yeah.
What's the Ornn upgrade on that one?
What, of a sun?
Wait, what if Silas changed the names of enemy ultimates he picked up to like be all Demacian or all
sunnier
like, magic? The sunnier disc.
The sunny delight disc of deliciousness. Anyway, he's caught out a little bit here. Pops the explosive cask and gets popped himself. This is all done, but the Nexus falling. You have
well, Vitality are also just on the wrong side of the map right now, hiding out inside of OG's jungle. Little do they know, there's vision in there. So OG know exactly what's going on. Alfari is on the flank, but they will call it off in order to peel back towards this Baron. Last time Vitality won a big team fight around this objective, but I don't think they'll be so lucky this time around.
Yeah, I feel like they would need to somehow reverse Summoner's to fight around this right now. So on the red buff of Origen, And that's not a beneficial trait for Vitality. You lose Baron, you get a red buff, some farm on your AD carry, but you're trying to get whatever you can out of the situation. You know you're not going to be able to fight around Baron. And the expectation now is that Origen can use this in a couple of lanes. You've still got TP on Alphari. You can try and get a couple of lanes pushing it and break open the base of Vitality.
Now, Medic, you're not wrong. You would expect OG to use the Baron buff in multiple lanes.
Ooh.
But I think OG are just going to group up and continue to force fights.
I mean, that's fine.
How they like to win their games.
Yeah, that's fine by me. I like fights. Fights are good. I was interested to see is the Black Cleaver that's been upgraded, not the Blade of the Ruin, and I'm not 100% sure on the cost efficient, like the gold efficiency of the different upgrades.
So I think the idea there is because the upgrades just take the base stats of it, like AD, HP, attack speed, and upgrade them, right? So Obsidian Cleaver, you're going to get HP and attack damage, whereas Blade of the Ruin King, you're going to get AD and attack speed. And I don't think attack speed is going to be the most valuable stat on Alphari. So I actually, I can get behind the Obsidian Cleaver here.
It could, of course, have just been mispositioned in his inventory as well.
Also
we
possible.
have had that happen. But yeah, I can understand the reasoning behind it. So, and here we are, 2 lanes and 2 lanes.
Wow. Oh, they're splitting up to 3 lanes. Xerxes going top lane as well. What ultimate does he have? He doesn't have an ultimate for now. Technically, it's called hijack, but he doesn't have anyone else's ultimate.
Origen now going to break open the mid lane inhibitor tower, pushed back by a bullet time that just about cleared out the minions. Nuke Duck is...
The bullet time hit 2 minions, Medic.
Yeah, well, it cleared out the 2 minions that it hit.
All right.
So it did its job. However, Upset and Xerxes went the top lane pushing in the inhibitor tower. This will be the inhibitor shortly to... And Origen have truly broken the backs of Vitality here. Really not too much. Even Cabochard can do in this situation. Selfie pinged with Winter's Bite as Comp steps forward. There's the explosive caster, not Comp. And Origen, I fear they may reset and look for more, but instead the Call of the Fortress coming out lands on Selfie. Upset, what? What did Upset hit him with?
I'm gonna go ahead and watch that myself here because that was a lot of damage from very far away.
Was it?
Oh, he had the gravitum gun on him already and just popped at the same time.
What on earth? That was actually crazy. I mean, Origen are winning the game. GA isn't quite popped here on Cabochard as Nuke dives onto the backline. Alphari there as well as Cabochard goes down, and Origen playing with their food before they take the Nexus. Cabochard's going to try and flash away, but he cannot escape the oncoming onslaught that was Origen. They continue to chase. That's another Comp dead for the first time this game. And the bullet time locking Jack Troll and Schemes in their base. Great play from Origen. They will take the win and go to 11 and...
Yep, OG just showing how it's done as a team right there, winning so many of those fights, playing the map pretty darn well there. And even though Vitality had some, good punches there in the early game, it wasn't quite enough to bounce back against it.
Yeah, it wasn't the best overall. I mean, you could see what Vitality are trying to do, and I think that's kind of been the story of like what Vitality have tried to do through the entirety of the split, right? You can tell them, you can tell what they're attempting to do as a team. We do have our Kia Player of the Game votes. You can go to @LEC on Twitter and vote for Upset, Alphari, or Xerxes as your option, and they're all viable options. They always are. We don't pick players who didn't play in the game.
Well, here's the thing. Because you've chosen 3 players, they are all now viable options. That's just how that works if we're playing the semantics.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're entirely correct.
I know.
You out-semanticed the semantic.
The 2 players that were not chosen are not viable options.
100% true. 100% true.
Always happy to help and to inform the viewers and my co-commentators alike.
Thank you so much. So I want to talk a little bit about the rest of the schedule here for Origen because they are trying to get to that second spot, right? Obviously, they are, I believe they're 1-1 with Fnatic, so that head-to-head is tied up. They're now both at 11-4. Origen have XL, Mad, and SK left, whereas Fnatic have Vitality, Mad, and Rogue. So I think you'd say Fnatic are slightly harder, have a slightly harder road in because of that Rogue match. But what's your expectation? Do you think we're going to end up with a tiebreaker there? I mean, between the 2 of them?
Honestly, yeah. Like looking at the remaining schedule, like I do agree. Like if there is going to be a wild card game, upset win there, it would be Rogue over Fnatic, even though they're pretty close in the standings. Like that's your highest likelihood of something going wrong here. But looking at it, I mean, this is very likely going to be, tied at the end of the season. And in that case, like that just means Origen in a
Oh,
decent spot going in towards place. What's that?
interestingly, okay, if they both win out, I'm just looking this. So this is just maths I'm doing right off the top of my head. Our second tiebreaker rule is the amount of wins in the second half of the split.
Correct.
Fnatic have one more win in the second half of the split. So Fnatic would break that head-to-head tie with wins in the second half of the split, because Origin have lost 2 games,
Right.
one
Against
to Fnatic and one to G2, and Fnatic have only lost to G2 the second half of the splits.
There you go.
That head-to-head
so it
would be
literally
broken.
will just be the head-to-head that they played the second time.
Yep.
All right, good to know. Good to know. Well, I mean that matches expectations, right? You know, OG got off to a very good start in the split, and while they have continued to play very good League of Legends, I think Fnatic have really turned on the gears toward the end of the split.
I totally agree with you. I think we'll see, obviously, if that's how things end up, but it's very possible that it will be. And getting first and second, I mean, it's a benefit because it means you don't play the first or second, the other team in the top 2, but it's not like you get double elimination over single elim. Origin would still get a double elimination playoff bracket for coming in third place.
Honestly, you talking about the playoff brackets, I just got reminded of
explaining
the start
yes,
of today
doing...
with Explanius, and now I've confused myself. I've completely forgotten how our playoffs is supposed to go, because there's just like Cthulhu randomly, like unexpectedly, he just rolls in there. I don't know.
That's enough about that for now, and enough from us. We're going to hand it over to Shocks on the analyst desk.
Thank you very